split up $20 million now, $20 million later. And while we await a solution for A.J. Brown, the Eagles reached agreement today with Hollywood Brown on a one-year deal, so they add another wide receiver, a low-cost risk investment, some speed to get into the Eagles' wide receiver room after they lost Jahan Dotson in free agency. So Dotson moves on. They replace him with Hollywood Brown as the number 3 wide receiver. So they add Hollywood Brown while we wait to see a resolution on A.J. Brown.
Okay, we're going to ask you about this like every day until something happens, Adam. And one of these days you're going to have something, whether he's staying or going. Yeah, I love it. Dan, what do you think about the possibility of A.J. Brown being traded now? Now that we know a little bit more about where some of these other receivers have gone.
Yeah, it sounds like it's more than likely the post-June 1st because of his salary cap hit move. I would say this, if you're Philadelphia, where is the pass rush help coming from? Since you lost Jalen Phillips, that has not been addressed yet. And maybe you can address it in the draft. But for an organization that has been one of the best pass rush organizations in the NFL over the past couple years, as great as A.J. Brown is, and I still believe he is great, let's live in a world where a month from now in the NFL draft, specifically early on, they aren't able to get a pass rusher. So then are they going to go into the season without pass rush help? No. And I think then it becomes an even greater conversation of, okay, New England, are you willing to part? Okay, Baltimore, are you willing to part? Maybe the Chargers, are you willing to part with maybe a first and or a second round pick for A.J. Brown? Because if Waddle today goes for a first and plus, A.J. Brown's certainly going to go for more.
Yeah. Someone asked me this before where they said, what does the Waddle trade do for A.J. Brown? And it's like just makes the price go up. So that's just the reality. I told you guys the Philadelphia Eagles have all the power. The Philadelphia Eagles have all the power because they're either going to keep him and play him and be like that's the way it goes, or they're going to trade him. And there's no sense that even if A.J. Brown blows up, even if A.J. Brown is screaming on the sidelines and then doing the Macarena out there, there's no sense that they're like, well, you just got to get this guy out of the building and we're going to, we'll give you a 3rd round pick for it's like Eagles like no, excuse me. Do you know who we are? Like, do you know how this works? You need him more than we need to get rid of him. It's that simple. It's really that simple. So, it just continues to give the Eagles all the cards. So, adding Hollywood Brown now, first off, remember when the Chiefs got Hollywood Brown, it was like ushering in a new era. When the Eagles get Hollywood Brown. Like, I'm interested to see what those conversations look like. The Eagles are making some really interesting moves, which again makes me continue to feel that there's such versatility. Orlovsky is obviously very much emphasized on pass rush. And so what kind of confused me a little bit though is because he's talking about they can't go into the season, let's just be real generic here, without the level of pass rush that he thinks that they need. And then he can say, okay, how serious are you, Baltimore or New England or whatever, to then make a trade. But if you do it after the draft, which seemingly that's what the Eagles want to do, the draft picks that you're going to get do not solve that problem. Unless you think at that point there will be other trades with those draft picks that you'll be able to make, or that you're hoping that you get a first and an edge like, and that's when things start to be like, well then at this point you just don't know what's actually available. This is when you start to try to predict movement, when you're just like, well, what are the Eagles actually looking to do in terms of this season? What timeline? Like Nick Wright for instance went on a whole rant about this, and I understand it. I disagreed with what he was saying, but the whole idea of looking at, he was talking about how the Chiefs have made very specific decisions that were essentially like we're looking at like a 7-year timeline, not like a 1 to 2 year timeline. And he was saying that the Bills are making decisions like they have like a 1 to 2 year timeline. And he's like, that will hurt them in the long term and it helps the Chiefs in the long term. And that's the thing. It's like in terms of where the Eagles are at right now, it's like what timeline are they looking at? Are they looking at as like we're making decisions for the next 5+ years, or are we looking at things right now in this immediate moment? We think that there's a chance to win another Super Bowl within the next, this year or next for instance. So that's when it becomes kind of difficult. It becomes difficult to really because I look at it where I'm like, well, you have prime Jalen, you have prime Devontae, you have prime Squan, prime-ish for some of these situations. Take advantage now. Fangio will be gone seemingly after this year. Johnson, Digerson, Jurg, like those guys are seemingly all you. They're not for long, especially obviously Lane Johnson, but even some of the other dudes on the O-line are like, doesn't seem like, that's also going to be a thing for the next 5 years seemingly, right? So it does feel like it's kind of like, hey, take the big swing now. But I don't know. My original viewpoint after they won the Super Bowl was like, go win another Super Bowl over the next 3 years. And now they obviously didn't win last year. So now it's like over the next 2 years. But if there's an honest evaluation of like we're looking at this over another 5-year window and not necessarily we need everything right now. Well then that encourages that again, that gives Eagles even more power because then that now they got the power of patience as well. So the situation is fascinating. I think it's fascinating and it's really hard to predict, and what I said, and he brought up the Ravens as well. This is what I had said about the Ravens and what I then referenced the Watt trade where I'm just like, look what they gave up. They gave up their first round pick etc. to get Watt. And by the Ravens signing Hendrickson and not giving up that draft capital for Max Crosby, I was like, there's other moves for the Ravens to make now. You can trade that first round pick now and you can do that for A.J. Brown, like that's on the table. The only thing is like you obviously are not doing that in June 1st, after June 1st or whatever, or before June 1st, but it's still the movement that's still available here in terms of what a team would be willing to part ways with. And again, that team, if you're looking at a team like the Ravens, whether it's before the draft or after the draft, whatever it is, it's just like, what type of swing are you looking to take right now? Are you trying to win a Super Bowl right now? If that is the case, then you want A.J. Brown, regardless of whether or not he's doing cartwheels on the sidelines and reading books, regardless of whether or not, the Eagles need to get rid, because just like the Eagles are going to be able to get something regardless. You are the more desperate team because you have the real bona fide chance to win the Super Bowl, or the Eagles are in the situation where it's like they're winning and then it doesn't matter. It's just like, yeah, we can take it or leave it. We took care of what we need to. We got Devontae, we got Hollywood Brown, we got Squan, we got etc., etc. So, it's like we're good. We can where we'd love to get rid of AJ, but like only for the when the price is right. It still continues to give the Eagles the maximal power. So it becomes so unpredictable in terms of how do they wield that power. What are they looking to do with that power in terms of win now or set themselves up for the future, and what the story is? I have no strong sense honestly. I think the Eagles are looking, I don't know. I was about to say I think the Eagles are looking to win this year in terms of like actually genuinely a Super Bowl run, but they're also not willing to necessarily mortgage their entire future and take swings in a way where you're just like, alright, this is clearly a bet for these next 2 years. And after that, it's going to be like, okay, you're going to have to kind of tear it all down. I mean, Nick was predicting essentially this season onward they were going to have to tear everything down. The way how he talked about the Eagles, and it's like, and they're clearly not doing that. So yeah, the Eagles definitely continue to be really interesting, making some really interesting smart strategic moves, but obviously the whole A.J. Brown situation is the most in your face, and it still does seem to be pretty split. You definitely have people that strongly believe A.J. Brown is not being moved. He is not being moved. He is not being moved. He is not being moved. But then you also have the more general expert sense that he is being moved. Definitely. It's just not happening before June. And that's what makes this an ongoing conversation, and we are always getting new information, because at first I was like, are we really going to make another trade video? Because originally I was like, this is going to be a Hollywood Brown video. But then they turned it into an A.J. Brown thing, and I was like, well, it is new information. They now do have Hollywood Brown. We did just see what Waddle went for. Like it at all. Continues to be new and updated information. So yeah, it continues to be crazy. It continues to be crazy. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about A.J. Brown, the Philadelphia Eagles, Hollywood Brown, Jalen Watt? You take the comments section in whatever direction you want. Let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. Whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get to some discussions. Let's get to some fights, but ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see part of it. I want to build something that we all generally feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up as it really does help the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.